I have promised Boyd that he could speak for a moment. Yes, Boyd.
Thank you, Doctor. I wish there was somebody else besides me that could say this, because I think it could be said a lot better. But for the benefit of you people, I've had the privilege of knowing Dr. and Ms. Schaeffer since 1970. And when I first went to L'Abri with 1,000,000 questions. And I was impressed by the fact that when Dr. Schaeffer graciously saw me the first day I was there, I didn't go to an office or something. I went to his bedroom, because that's the only office he had, and it wasn't a huge bedroom. I talked to some people that hadn't had an automobile for years, because an automobile costs money. I talked to some people that had as many people as they could house in about 7 or 8 chalets, 1 or 2 of which were rented and loaned to them, and whenever they got a little extra money, they took somebody else in if they slept on the kitchen floor or something. I talked to some people that at the end of the month, they started every month off fresh. They split up the money among the half a dozen ministers and their families, and maybe those families got $15 a month for their personal use. I talked to some people that were absolutely dedicated. And I think that maybe they didn't have the training even for what they've done. I don't know how you would get the training for what they've done. They had, like the Apostle Paul, a sold-outness. He was out there killing Christians, and then when he became one, he was just as sold out to convert people and to disciple them as Christians. I think we're at a time in history, you've been telling us, like our revolutionary fathers who had plantations and stuff and were willing to put their lives and their property and their sacred honor on the line for something they believed in, and chance of losing everything, and probably would, it looked like, considering the military power against them and so forth. And it seems to me you're saying to us that we're at that point now. I've seen a lot of people in my time, and I'm so inadequate in these things I'm talking about, but this lady talked about she felt like she was in the presence of the apostles before you got here, and we giggled a little, but I think that's true. And this gentleman talked about asking you to comment a little bit on personal peace and affluence, and to my mind, in my life, you know, that's the spirit of the world that grips me and grips each of us as we sit there and we think of the new things we'd like. And I think of you people, and you've put all of the royalties of your books back in the works, and I mean, you could have had money if you'd have wanted money, and you could have had, you did what you thought the Lord wanted you to do on the side of a little mountain in Switzerland with a few people that you could have as guests, and you're asking to bring those people. And out of a true, absolute dedication, I've been around you probably more than anybody in this room. I've been privileged with that over these years, and attending many conferences and then having weeks with you by myself in a situation that I was most privileged to see you as human beings. And I know you have your foibles, as people here have asked whether Mrs. Schaeffer could tell them about some of the fights, which exist. You're very humble and very human and very wonderful people. And behind every great man there's a great woman. And I know you were honored last night very justifiably. And beside you there, I heard you once say at Covenant College that nothing would have been done, the books would have never been written if it hadn't been for this woman. And in the book L'Abri, you were ready to go home, and she went back one more time, and that's when the Lord gave you malaise and so forth. And I just think of what a wonderful pair you've made. And I think for those of us who have an opportunity yet to do something in this world, we're not going to, I look at all the potential people in this world that could have done what you've done, and nobody's done it. And I think that your willingness to really be sold out and to really live the sort of life that you would urge us to do, and not many people know these things, I think. And I felt I should say it, that you, like the Apostle Paul, could say, copy me. And we'd do well to do that. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, thank you, Boyd.
They don't seem like...
I would just like to respond and say that Edith and I are overawed with what the Lord has brought forth. And we had no idea what he would bring forth when we began. And we can only say that it leaves us in awe and worship. And it is to his praise. And we are taken entirely by surprise. And it's all from him. And we never would have dreamed when we started with that one little chalet on the side of the mountain that the branches would have come forth that I spoke about at the beginning, nor that the larger root system would come forth. And it is to his praise. And Edith and I find it our point of awe and worship before him, what he has done with what we know is so incomplete.